Welcome back to Fungi I Find. So we're out in a pine plantation today foraging for pine mushrooms and slippery jacks. Slippery jacks are these ones with these yellow paws underneath, and they have this brown top that when they're fresh is quite slippery, and when you prepare the mushroom you actually peel it off the top because it gives some people a tummy upset. What's is saffron milk. I just know them as pine mushrooms, and they're very fragrant, very tasty. Probably my favorite to enjoy with a pasta. And then the other agenda for today is just down here a little bit. There's an old eucalyptus that was knocked over when this plantation was put in, and there's a beefsteak mushroom that's growing on it that I've been eyeing off for the last 2 weeks until it gets big enough for me to harvest so I can tissue culture it and try to get that mushroom growing. So yeah, come along. I'll try show you some things and enjoy the video. Alright, so this is the sort of habitat we're walking through, and I find that most of the mushrooms are growing in the actual tracks where the bulldozers run through and take that every 4th row of trees. So this is a pine mushroom here, or the saffron milk cap. My general process is to just clear around it a little bit. This one's a bit dirtier than most. I usually do this with 2 hands. I brush off the top, cut it, check on the bottom, make sure it's not bug ridden or anything. This one's fairly clean. A couple little bits damaged to the gills, but that's good enough. If they're green on the bottom, it just means they've been bruised and they've oxidized. And I don't worry about taking those ones because they go bad in the fridge pretty quickly. Here's another one here. This one's in a bit better nick, I think. Flip it over and good to go. If you're out foraging with just a basket, like a wick basket, I'd say keep them face down so they drop their spores as you walk through the forest, but I'm harvesting for restaurants at the moment, so I need to keep them as in pristine condition as possible. So I'm actually doing it the wrong way around, and I'm also using a plastic tub, just so when I get home this can go straight into the fridge. Here is what I'd probably call almost a perfect specimen. So what makes it pretty perfect is when the cap is still rounded over like that and it hasn't fully opened up. So it's got this little lip here. This means it's a nice meaty, dense mushroom. We've got one more over here, which is also in really good condition. So that one I'll just pull out of the ground and I'll take it back to my knife and give it a trim before putting it into the tub. Oh, have a look at this. Everyone loves Amanita. I heard this little bird hopping over here, and it's led me to this absolute wonderland of Amanita Muscaria, the classic fairytale mushroom. These also have a mycorrhizal relationship with these pine mushrooms, with these pine trees, the same way the pine mushroom does. So here we've got a young Amanita coming through. They start as in this little egg, which is still in the ground, and that's what these dots are, and eventually as they get older, those dots become more scarce and sparse until you finally get to they don't always get this big, get to a big one like this. I'd pull it out of the ground to show you, but it's actually illegal to possess this mushroom in Australia, so I can show you it on camera in reference to my hand, but I legally can't pick it if I'm going to post this video on the internet, so we'll go back to picking what we've come out here for. Alright, so this one here actually is a perfect specimen. I know I've said that about the other 2, but this is even better. There's just no damage on top. Keep this camera still, focus up, give it a little snip. I can guarantee there'll be no bug damage underneath. Look at that. That is just gorgeous. And these mushrooms are called milk caps, saffron milk caps in it. I'll show you why. When you cut the gills, they lactate this little orange milk. Let me get that in the sun for you there. They lactate more when they're younger, but just an example, you can see that tiny little orange bleeding. So that's why they call them milk caps. This little guy we have down here in the pine needles is known as a rooting shank. I'll put the scientific name on screen, but it ends in gigaspora. It's got this nice, strong, firm stem. It's usually like a droopy, slippery cap, but there's been no rain here for a couple of days, so he's drying out a little bit, but a fun little mushroom nonetheless. So that's a rooting shank. Alright, back to our haul so far. We've got a couple of slippery jacks, a couple of saffron milk caps, and we are very close to the beefsteak. It's on that eucalyptus over there. Almost made it to the beefsteak, and then I've stumbled across a beautiful fresh patch of slippery jacks. And these are in better condition than the previous ones I saw, so let's see. look at that. So that's what you really want, that really pale yellow gills. Almost looks like an off-white compared to these slightly older ones, which are yellowy going on brown. That is premium there. Alright, I've made it to the beefsteak, and I'm in a little bit of shock, to be honest, because it really hasn't grown much in the last 2 weeks. So this is what we're looking at here. I'll spin the camera around. Mushroom here can really grow to about the size of my hand. Got this nice underside here. And I like to give it a really quick flash fry. And it's kind of got an acidic taste to it. So I've made sashimi out of it and used it as mock tuna, as it kind of has that sort of ribbed pattern through it. I don't know how else to put it other than I'll put up a photo here and you'll see what I mean. But I'm starting to wonder if this is still too young to harvest. I really do want to tissue culture this mushroom and get it going on production and see if I can fruit it. But if this fruiting body's taking 2-3 weeks and it's barely grown a centimetre since I last saw it, then I feel like it's not going to be a productive culture if I'm to take a culture of it and try expand it out myself. There's a bloke over in America, Jacob, who has about 70 strains of beefsteak, and only a couple of them he's able to get primordia on them. So they're very temperamental mushrooms. There's no commercial strains available, so I honestly think I might leave it and see if I can get it a bit bigger, because I don't think it's going to be viable for what I want to do. So in setting that, I'm glad we got to check it out. Looks like the bugs are getting to it, which is a little alarming to me. Maybe it won't be here in a week's time, but time will tell. I'm in no rush. Just out here picking the pines, a couple of slippery jacks, and we'll continue on our forage. My favourite mushrooms are the ones that grow out of the moss here, because they're just always cleaner. Look at that, not a single bit of damage. I'm just scouting another location to look for some pine mushrooms, and I just want to show that when Amanita Muscaria is out, it doesn't mess. Have a look at all these specimens here. Something's been eating those back ones. All around this tree here. Some really nice ones down here as well. Just all these little shrumps coming through. Look at this one growing up under a pine needle. Something's eaten half of that one. Must have been yummy. These ones here are just coming through. They've still got the egg that's going to come off them. Little baby one here. Let's see if I can jump up here. It's a bit of a... Oh, it's not too bad. Alright, whoa. All these behind here. Up through here. Geez, if you were interested in this mushroom, this would be the spot for you, I tell you what. Wow. And I'm out here chasing the humble saffron milkcap. I found a lot of them here last year, but this year the forest just seems to be absolutely, excuse the word, littered with Amanita Muscaria. You've probably just seen about 100 specimens. Hope you're all still going to. Try to keep the camera as steady as possible. More there. Walk back towards the van. Not one pine mushroom yet. This was a pretty prominent spot. I used to see them all along the bank here. Oh my goodness. Let's have a look at it. Little baby one coming through. Bit of carnage up here. Someone's been hungry. They're definitely chomp marks. Nom nom. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's any saffies up here to this year. Or at least not yet. Wow, the amanitas just keep going. They don't stop. Can I find one saffy? Amanita, 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 Amanita. There's got to be one just back here, surely. Can't have stopped the car and not found one. Well, it's looking like the case. Hey, little birdie. Yeah. Oh, there's another little one. It looks almost like we don't get woodpeckers in Australia, but it's a long little beak. Do you see him in there? Pretty chill little bird. Almost looks like a female fairy wren, but it's a bit bigger. But yeah, wow. Amanita land. Just as I said Amanita land, I found one saffy. So they are here. Very cool. Back to the van I go.